Welcome back to Season 2 of the 5-Star Council Podcast, the 5-Star Counselor Bootcamp. Over the next 6 weeks, in 12 episodes, I'm taking you step by step through my service framework. Every episode focuses on one key aspect of service, not only tackling common misconceptions about that aspect, but also giving you clear takeaways and tactical exercises for you to do on your own. This will help you develop service in your firm so that it works for you, your employees, and your clients. I'll help you build the firm clients rave about because you, your clients, and your employees are happier, leading to more referrals, repeat business, and 5-star reviews. Let's get started. Hey 5-star listeners, I know we're all pretty excited to be able to gather together again, and one of my favorite legal gatherings is back and in person. Clio Cloud Conference will be in Nashville, Tennessee on October 10th and 11th. ClioCon brings together leaders from across legal and tech to learn, be inspired, and innovate. While there is a healthy focus on how to better use Clio, there's as much shared about how to improve your practice with whatever tools and tech you're actually using. Now, one of the main reasons I've gone every year since I opened my firm is how easy it is to connect with new people who are building a better way to practice law. And you've probably heard from many of those same people here on this podcast. 5-Star Council will be there conducting some on-site interviews, as well as sharing a slew of tips and trends that come from this future-focused event. If you want to join me there, we've got a special discount code just for our listeners. Just use the code 5-Star Council Podcast with hyphens between each word for $300 off your ticket. Don't worry, we've put that all in the show notes so you don't have to remember it. Get together with thousands of legal professionals from around the world in person for the first time in over 2 years, or virtually. No matter which you choose, trust me, you'll be glad you joined. Welcome to Season 2 of the 5-Star Council Podcast. This time, we're helping you improve client service without a career in the hotel industry. The short version is you can make it easy for you and your clients and your employees to all work together. Now, here are the stakes. You already know that the market is changing, and low-cost alternatives like LegalZoom and Trust and Will are already out there seeking to take up shares of your market. You'll get crushed if you don't make changes. This isn't great for lawyers, both as owners and employees of their firms, for staff, and for the clients. It doesn't have to be this way, and you can embrace a service-focused model to help get yourself out of this problem. Ultimately, you need to decommodify yourself so that you can stand out in the market. Gone are the days when doing great work is going to be enough. There are loads of lawyers and 20 other options for clients other than going first to a lawyer who can just get the work done. We have to be proactive, and we need to take the lead both with our clients and in our business. If you're listening right now, your career path looks something like this. You went straight from high school to college and then on to law school, and right from there into your first real job in middle management in a law firm. You didn't have any opportunity or thoughts that you were going to go from school right to running a law firm or even your own practice in a bigger firm. Chances are that you've learned how to run and manage your business from other lawyers. Now, that's all well and good, but it means you probably failed at service in the past, and it's not your fault that there's a lot of bad information floating out there. So what I want to do is help correct that bad information so you know how to actually look at things. Now, if you're worried that this is only the province of big law or somebody who's not you, I want to put that at ease right now. This is something that you can do. You don't want to be some replaceable service provider. Improving your service is how you're going to make sure things work for you, your clients, and your employees. You want more from your practice than just a job, and you want to make a difference for both your clients and your employees. Now, I know that you've probably been following the wrong sources, as long as they weren't me, if you've been informed of anything when it comes to services. Most lawyers have no idea what it looks like, so we need to know what you've gotten wrong and how to correct that. We're going to be doing that this season. Because ultimately, you know that change is possible, and you need to know how to make that leap forward. I need you to understand that you can have these suspicions, and we're going to work through so you can overcome them. It won't be easy and obvious, and I ultimately had to work for a few years as a lawyer before I figured out how to apply what I learned in the hotel to make it work for lawyers. I'm condensing those vapors so you can see what works and why it works. Ultimately, service isn't a mystery, and I want you to learn how to recognize it and improve it for your own firm. You already know that there are things that do work Every fine establishment you've ever been to has figured out how to do things like this, and they know what to do. It's not a secret. They're doing things with people with far less education than basically every law firm on the planet. I was doing this stuff right out of college, and if I could do it at the hotel, you, a lawyer, can do it too. And ultimately, I want you to understand that excellent service is not the province of big law. They don't have some monopoly on excellent service, and don't you believe it for a minute when they tell you that they do. Just because they've overspent on their offices and claim to have great service, it doesn't mean that they actually deliver that way. They charge their high rates and they work people to death. Is that really what you want for your practice? So, a few of the things that we're not going to be talking about. We're not going to be talking about specific tools in any of this because those tools will change. Ultimately, you'll need to find what works for you. My firm uses Typeform because it works now and it integrates with Zapier and it plays well with the rest of our tools. But it's not important that you use Typeform because it's the one best tool, as long as you use the one tool that works for you, your clients, and your employees. This means you're going to need to experiment, fail, and then try again many times to find your best tool. I know it's hard to hear as a lawyer that you're going to fail at something, but you're going to have to get used to that idea as we improve your service. Next, I want you to know this is not just for high-end firms, it's also for common practices like DUI and family law. Doesn't mean that we can't have different applications, but what you should see is that both the Four Seasons and McDonald's do well on service for what they're trying to do, as well as the market they're trying to serve. Just because their prices aren't the highest, it doesn't follow that they're not successful or profitable. You just have to find your place in the future of law. Improving your service is about ensuring that your business survives the current revolution in legal services. We're not talking about how to run the business like profit first or traction or even accounting. What we're talking about is a mindset you need to guide your technical component of your business that happens to deliver legal services. Yes, the physical component and the service component of your business are very important, but ultimately you're hired as the expert. We're here to improve services to help your expertise stand out. We'll start out by thinking of our business as a three-legged stool that provides a product. The three legs of that stool are our owners or partners, our employees, meaning our staff, and the partners as worker bees, not just as owners, and finally our clients. We've talked about this before. The owners are the most consistent leg. Think of it as one stick. It's not changing over very much. Our clients likely are going to be the ones that change over the most. So it's a leg, but instead of being one stick, it's a bunch of reeds banded together. Some come, some go. Ultimately, they all turn over. In the middle, we have employees, both, again, staff and the partners as worker bees, not as owners. Less turnover than clients, more turnover than owners. We have to focus on things that will work for all three of those legs, because if we're only focused on one, we're not going to have a stable stool. Next, we want to make sure we're not following unsustainable or unicorn models for service. I know you've probably heard about Joshi, the stuffed animal that got a wild trip through a Ritz-Carlton that was documented in photos for some child who had left his beloved stuffed animal behind. This is not sustainable. Joshi is held up as an excellent story of customer service, but it doesn't happen on a regular basis. It's a great marketing tool, and that's how you should think about it. The guests who left Joshi behind weren't looking to get photos and a great story. They were looking to enjoy their time there. What they did was accidentally leave behind a treasured item, and the Ritz-Carlton made it easy to get it back. Then, the Ritz-Carlton made sure that the story got out to improve their marketing. There's nothing wrong with this, and I'm not citing them in any way for it. But what I want you to see is that a story like Joshi isn't sustainable for the Ritz-Carlton, the Four Seasons, or your law firm. It's an overwhelming experience that can't be followed and shouldn't be used as the model. So we don't want to focus on some sort of overwhelming client experience. Remember that client experience is what the client gets. Client service is what the law firm is going to do to deliver that. Clients aren't going to see every bit of service. They're not going to see how you focus on delivering things to them. They're just going to see how it gets delivered to them. You're not going to be hired for your experience. You're not going to be hired for the omelet menu or the massages you may give. You're ultimately hired for the expertise. So we need to make sure that we put these stories where they belong. Sure, Zappos had 12-hour calls. Tony Hsieh also had already exited a company for about $265 million before he started Zappos. He could afford to burn money in ways that you can't, and so that's not going to be a sustainable model for you either. Also, lawyers who focus on things that aren't going to help their clients, like having the client's favorite drink ready for them when they show up, isn't going to help the lawyer achieve the result that the client is looking for. You're not going to be able to go above and beyond on every client, and I'm not going to tell you anything like that. Most clients are going to be fairly straightforward and really won't give you even much of an opportunity to do much above and beyond. They're coming to you as the expert because they have a problem and you shouldn't be worried about handling it. This is where your systems are going to come in and make sure that you're knocking things out efficiently for them. Heck, even when I was still at the hotel, most of the guests would check in and check out and really wouldn't have any issues or present much of an opportunity for us to go above and beyond for them. That's fine. What we need to understand is you can't go above and beyond for everybody. What you need to do is be ready to serve them better than they expected. You need to be ready to capitalize on any opportunities to make things better for them, but you're going to consistently miss the mark if you're aiming to go above and beyond for everybody. It just won't work. Ultimately, if somebody is looking for something straight ahead and has a straightforward request, they're probably not looking for anything that's magical or transformational, and that's okay. So there aren't going to be any easy answers. You're going to have to figure some of this out for yourself, but you will have the tools. You'll need to take these small chances and figure things out by making small bets here and there to figure out what works before going whole hog into something else. Ultimately, at the hotel, we weren't that special. We just did things the Four Seasons way. When you look at your law firm, you're not going to be that special compared to other law firms. You're just going to do it your way, and that way will make it easy for you, your employees, and your clients to get things done. I want you to copy tactics and not outcomes. I absolutely don't want you blindly copying the current state of what the Four Seasons or Disney is doing. If you copy their current iteration, it won't be useful for you. You should instead be finding the process of improvement and not just taking what that easy option is to copy and paste what you did see. So, how can you learn from what they did to achieve their current results and not just what their current results are? If you just imitate them, it's going to be a fast way to get to average, but you're going to have to go beyond that. Four Seasons and Disney are 15 levels above you right now. You need to be looking for nearby changes. And if you want to try and get there to where Four Seasons and Disney are, well, they've got 60 years of experience on you. You're looking for somebody who's more recent in doing this and figure out what it is to level up. So sure, you can copy the secrets of the billion-dollar companies, but they didn't just figure this out yesterday. They did it over time, and well, $1 billion does help to make things a lot easier for them to do on a consistent basis. I want you in a position not only to evaluate your situation, but how you can figure out how to make the next small step forward. So, what are we doing with client service? This isn't some fluffy nonsense. This is about doing good work, and that's what it is. Far too often, it's been all about making it easy for the lawyers and not caring about the staff or the clients. It has to work for all three, or that stool is going to tip over. So we're going to draw this episode to a close for now. Our exercises, which we'll have in every episode, will be a series of questions for you to start thinking through what you should be doing and what this should look like. Yes, you can just sit here and listen to me ask these questions, kind of mull them over in your head, and move on with your day. If you really want to get something out of this, go back, write your answers down, and keep them all together so that you've got this all in one place. So for the introduction to our client service bootcamp, what are we starting with? Well, where are you now? If I could give you a magic wand, what are the top 3 things that you would change about the service your firm delivers right now? Once you've got the answers for how you think of your service and what are the top 3 things on your triage list for service, I want you to answer the question from 2 different perspectives. First, answer the question from the position of your employees. What do they think about the service in your firm? And what are the top 3 things that they would change about it? Then, answer those same 2 questions from the position of your clients. What is the state of the service in your firm? And what are the top 3 things that they'd want to change about it? Thanks so much for listening. You can find more info on us and get your free white paper on client service at 5starcouncil.com. You can get in touch with me at john@5starcouncil.com. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe wherever fine podcasts are found and leave us a review wherever you can.